Good morning, yogis. Thanks for joining us. We've got one other person here with us this morning, and this is real casual. So if you want to join in, have a mat or hard carpet, rug, anything. We're gonna keep it nice and gentle and stretchy this morning for y'all. So I'm Brandy. This is Nate. He's a swimmer. So we're gonna address some of the things that he might need this morning and go from there. So welcome. Nice to have you. Forgot what I was saying. Oh, in August we had a big group. And then last month we didn't have anybody come. And then it's just all over the place how many people come. So, okay, let me see. Oh, I should get music going here. Oh, there's a message from Shannon. He might be coming, or he might be saying I'm not making it. Oh, he's coming. Okay. So we'll have somebody else join us in a few minutes. By the way, it is like 8-ish that we get started around here. So it's not that big a deal if you get here anytime between 8 and 8:15. We kind of give people a chance to roll in on Saturday morning. Can you hear that okay? Okay. Hopefully it won't bother the microphone. Let's see. So, okay, comfortable seated position, whatever works best for you. Traditionally, we do this crisscross applesauce kind of thing. It's called easy pose, but it really doesn't matter if it's more comfortable for you to have your legs out, or even sitting on your knees, or even sitting on a chair. You could be sitting on a chair. That's another option. But we do want to try to have a straight spine. So we want to have our shoulders stacked over our ribs, over our hips as best we can. And then we're going to just relax our muscles, relax our face, and start to notice our breath. And as you start to notice your breath, you may find that you begin breathing in a more intentional manner. Maybe you even deepen or lengthen those inhales and exhales. But just let that happen naturally. We can breathe in through our nose. And out through our nose or our mouth if it feels better to kind of sigh out the breath. You can just rest your palms on your knees, face up, face down. Face up is nice. It kind of externally rotates those shoulders, gives you just a tad more openness. You also might see people take what's called a mudra with their fingers. So you could put your first finger and thumb together, or really any of the fingers. They all offer a different energy connection. And maybe let's see if we can inhale a little bit longer now. So let's do for a count of 5. And out for 5. Now let's see if we can go for 6. Out for 6. Maybe go for 7. And let's try one more, see if we can make it to 8. Awesome. Try to increase that oxygen flow to our body there. All right, let's start moving a little bit. Let's just kind of shift that neck side to side. We'll try to get our joints lubricated and moving a little bit better. We're usually kind of, I don't know if you are. I'm usually kind of stiff in the morning. Not you?
Usually stay, remember.
All the time. Maybe because you swim so much and you keep moving so much. Lucky, yeah. Well, they say that our fascia, so our fascia is like that fiber that covers our muscles and all of our body. They say when we sleep, it kind of like gets this layer of fuzz on it. We can just kind of turn and look now. So as we sleep, it gets this layer of fuzz on it. So if you don't get up in the morning and do some good like movements that really get the joints and the muscles and everything moving a little bit, and do some like big stretches like an animal would when they first wake up, that you don't get that fuzz off, and then you might go sit for your job and then you come home and you might sit. Anyway, the point is that fuzz can accumulate and just get layer upon layer. So you're probably doing a good job of getting that fuzz off every day so it doesn't accumulate. That makes sense. We can do chin up, chin down, and we can synchronize this with our breath again. So we can inhale up, exhale down. Couple more of those. Good. Let's turn and look again, and then we're going to look down to our pocket. And then we're going to put a hand down on the ground, and that should pull this shoulder down a little bit. And if you're still not getting enough of a stretch, you could actually put your hand here and just give it a gentle little press. So it's like you're looking in your shirt pocket. If we had, I mean, I don't know. Is that common anymore to even have a pocket on a shirt? I guess men do, huh? Your pen, there you go. We're looking at our pen in our pocket. All right, so go to the other side. Sorry if it gets a little fuzzy in the mic when I get close to it. It should feel a nice lengthening and stretch all the way down the neck, into those traps, into that shoulder. All right, let's roll those shoulders out. If you want to kind of rock your body while you do it on your sit bones, you can. Some nice big shoulder rolls and other way. So we went from being hot outside to cold inside. All right, we're going to do some cat-cow. So we're going to grab onto our knees. That'll provide us a nice little resistance base. And we're going to just kind of curl our spine and tuck everything in and cave our belly back towards our spine. So we're just curling in. And we should get a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders and the back of the head. And then we're going to let the chest float through and look up. So we're extending. This is our extension. And then we're going to flex. So this is part of that kind of morning stretching I was talking about. It's called pandiculation. I think it's a fun word. I like it. So when you pandiculate, you just kind of move everything around in all different directions. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just for the purpose of getting everything kind of lubricated and ready to start the day. So this is all different ways you can do that.
New word for the day, pandiculation.
Yep, new word for the day, pandiculation. All right, we're going to now take it side to side. So we worked on the front body and the back body. Now we're going to work on the side body, getting it ready. So we typically will kind of keep the movement dynamic. Means that we are constantly moving, especially if we're in a cold room like we are right now. We don't want to just go straight to holding a static stretch because our muscles aren't going to be warmed up and they're not going to respond very well to that. So we're going back and forth. And then after it starts to warm up a little bit, we can hold it. And of course, you decide how deep you want to go. You know, you can take that hand out to get a deeper stretch here. You can also flip the palm and you can change the gaze. So instead of looking down or out, you could look up. This is all going to change the way the stretch feels. What's great about yoga is you can you just make it your own. You make it your own and you play around with it. It's not like there's, one right way to do each pose. Sometimes there's ways that make it more safe. We're going to inhale up and do a big stretch. And then we'll go to the other side. We're going to come back to that. I mean, there's obviously ways you want to align your body to make it more safe and less prone to injury. But it's not like you have to always have your hand here and your leg there and your eyes only this direction. You can kind of feel free to modify the poses and stuff as you need to. All right, we're going to inhale those arms up. And we're going to do a little reach towards the sky. So this is a little bit more of that pandiculation. Get into those lats and some of those inner shoulder muscles a little bit better. And of course, we haven't really worked on the lower body yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Good. All right, one more thing we're going to do here. Well, a couple more things we're going to do here. We're going to make sure we get all the positions of the spine. First thing we're going to do is axial spine. So we're going to lift our arms up, lengthen the spine as much as we can, and then we're going to exhale those arms back down. Now, this time I want you to pretend that the air is wet cement. So we're going to inhale those arms up as if it's wet cement. This should engage those muscles. We're no longer using like light, fluffy cloud arms. We're engaging those muscles and we're pulling and pushing through that wet cement. So notice how we can change the resistance and the challenge of the yoga with just a simple cue in the mind. Inhale back up. We've already done side bends, but we have not done much of a rotation yet. So we're going to bring that hand across the knee, put the hand behind, and we're going to make sure we open up the chest and we twist from the belly. So think about bringing this belly around, turning and looking to the back. Always with care with the neck. Couple breaths here. Good, and we're going to release. We'll come back center. And we'll rotate to the other side. So there, now you can see me. Hand across to the knee, hand behind. Open up the shoulder, turn and look. Again, rotating from the belly. Beautiful. All right, let's put both hands behind us. Fingers towards your sit bones. So like this. And natural spacing. And then we're just going to, again, lift that chest and let the head drop back. So getting a little more openness. This is called a heart opener, actually, a heart opener. So you're opening up your heart. It's also a gentle back bend, which we don't want to do back bends usually first thing out of the gate. We want to wait till we're warmed up a little bit, and then we kind of go into one. Good. And then the one last thing we can do for our spine is go forward. I'm going to move back on my mat so I have a little bit of room. Just walking my hands forward. Walking them forward, dropping the head down. Stretching across the back of the shoulders, the back of the arms. Probably also will feel this in your lower back. This is a wonderful, wonderful stretch to do anytime during the day. I'm going to show you another version of it on our knees in a minute. We're going to walk to the right real quick. Just another little side bend here. And to the left. Good. So hopefully that upper body is feeling a little more loose. So we're going to work on the lower body a little bit here. So first thing we're going to do is go back to having our hands behind us, and we're going to just lift our hips up and let our knees fall down. There we go. So we start to stretch through the front of the legs, and then we're going to release one foot, release the other foot. And now we're going to see if we can lift the hips up and let the head drop back, and we're kind of level across the front of the body. So we're trying to have shoulders, hips, knees kind of level with each other. If you can't get there yet and you're more in a little bit of a hammock posture, that's okay. We'll get there. Good. All right, we're going to bring it all the way back down now. And we're going to do this windshield wiper for the hips and the IT bands on the side of the leg. And it's up to you how far you go. Right now I am lifting up my sit bone so that I can get my knees as far down as possible. I staggered my legs a little bit so my one knee can kind of go inside the other. But again, there's not right or wrong here, as long as your joints feel okay and your muscles feel okay. Now I want you to do it a little different. I want you to plant your sit bones. The sit bones are not going to move this time, and you're not going to be able to go as far. And you should feel it a little bit more in the front of the leg, in the hip flexor area. So try not to let the sit bones move. So the hips aren't going to twist this time. You're only moving the leg from the hip flexor right here in the front. True windshield wiper. Yes. True windshield wiper. Maybe I should rename the other one.
Yeah.
Because you're right. This is like a true windshield wiper. The other one really is kind of, well, you can sometimes call it 90-90 because you're going all the way over to where the knees are 90 degrees. Anyway, you feel the difference. Good. Okay. Now let's go out and in. So kind of our butterfly here. We want to sit up a little bit taller, we can. If we want to use our hands for stability, we can. If we want to test our core a little bit more, we can let go and use that straight spine. Good. All right, and let it come down, and we'll just fold forward for just a moment. And then we're going to slide one leg in front of the other. So we have them kind of parallel lines like a highway. We're going to go forward here. And you can feel free to kind of sway a little bit. We could do that to the right and to the left again. Feeling this more in that glute muscle and again in this IT band. And we're going to switch out which leg is in front. So again, we're making that highway, 2-lane highway. So it's not a crisscross this time. It's not an intersection. It's a 2-lane highway. Come forward. And if you can't come forward very far, that's okay. If you can only come right here, that's okay. Walk to the right maybe again. And to the left. Good. All right. Release those legs again. Hey, you made it. Lift those hips again. Good. And come all the way back down. This time we're going to straighten the legs. Toes up, heels down. We're going to make a nice 90-degree angle with our body. So this is called stick pose. We're going to really pull those toes back towards our belly. We're on camera this morning, so. Getting a nice stretch on the back of the hamstring. So really pull those toes back towards your belly. So again, working that fascia too. Okay. Pressing your hands into the mat so that we're nice and tall, shoulders back. We don't want shoulders up by our ears. We just want them down, but we also want to not let them float forward. Good. All right, we're going to inhale up. Exhale, fold forward, and we're going to just kind of row back. So you can have your knees bent on this. Your hamstrings might not be ready for straight legs. I know Shannon always has tight hamstrings, huh? I don't know if this is an okay place for you to start this morning.
No place is here.
No place is good. So this is Nate. Have you met Nate, Shannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a swimmer. And Shannon's trying to get back into running, but it's been a little bit of a struggle. Yeah. So, all right, let's go back on our elbows here. And we're going to do just some leg raises. Good. All right, let's bring those knees into the chest. Let's do some knee circles. So we'll go one direction, and you can rock on that spine too if you want. That might feel good, and then go the other direction. Good, and then let's just kind of do some water ballet kicks. Get some good bending in those knees. Some of this stuff you can do without even leaving your bed in the morning. You wake up, take those covers off, and you can start doing a lot of these movements. In fact, I figured out when I had my neck injury, I could do a whole workout on my back. It was awesome. I can work everything. It was great. All right, let's see if we can just kind of open and maybe cross a little bit. Again, we're just waking up all the muscles in the joints. Nothing has to be extreme here, and you can have a bend in the knee. Okay, hug those knees back in. We're going to let the knees go to one side. We're going to have the arms stretch in a T, and then the head is going to go the opposite direction. And then we're going to bring those knees back center. Actually, we're going to do it one at a time. So top knee is going to come up first, guys, and then the bottom, because I don't want you to tweak your back. And then we'll go ahead to the other side. Good. Breathing. Always breathing. Bring one knee up, then the other knee up. And let's just do a really nice full body stretch. So this is some of that pandiculation you could do before you even get out of bed. So you just get up in the morning and find your inner tiger, find your inner Mike the tiger. Stretch in both directions. Good. And then we can kind of do this banana thing where we kind of move the legs and the arms over to one side. And again, we're getting into that side body. And then we can go to the other side. And we can wiggle our fingers and our wrists and our toes. We can just get everything wiggling. And then we can kind of flip-flop those feet in and out. And wave. These are all great movements just to do first thing in the morning before you even get out of bed. Good. This time, let's bring one knee up and then take it across. So instead of both knees, we're taking one knee across. So we're going to get a lot more twist here. We're going to get a lot more twist than we did before. And again, opposite arm, opposite direction with the head. Breathe. And when you're ready, we'll come back center. Other knee comes up. Across the body. Arm and head turns. Good. And back center. And now we're just going to prop up on our elbows. So now we're okay. All right. I'm a little bit more awake. I'll prop up on my elbows now. I guess I have to get up for the day. Let your chest come up and your head go back. And then I want you to, yeah, my hat's going to go. I figured that. I want you to open up your mouth, your jaw as wide as you can. And stick your tongue out. You can even do a nice breathe in and then like a ha out your mouth or whatever feels good. But we actually need to stretch our face too. So now we're going to just kind of bring that chin up and down. I mean the jaw, open and close. We have so many muscles in our face that connect to our neck. You can even make circles with your jaw. Both directions. Good. Kissy faces. Fish faces, whatever you want that to be. Good. And then we'll start to come up more. I guess I'll just ditch the hat. And then just restrain the toes again. Let's see how that feels compared to when we did before. And then let's just bend a knee so we can try to find the outside of this foot. And we're going to open up. So another rotation. So we actually can move our spine 7 different ways. We can be straight spot, like lengthen it. Okay, so that's 1. We can side bend left. That's 2. Side bend right. That's 3. We can twist right. That's 4. We can twist left. That's 5. And then we can also go forward, which we did. That's 6. And we can go back. That's your 7th. So if you're ever wondering, what the heck should I do? Just move your spine in all 7 ways and you're good. You've covered, you're really working on that spine health and you've got yourself covered there. All right, we need to change positions. Let's go to all 4s. And I promise we will get to standing also here, guys. But all 4s, make sure you're stacked like a table. In fact, this is called table pose. Sometimes it's quadruped. But natural spacing in your fingers, and you want your wrists, elbows, shoulders lined up. You want your hips and knees lined up. And then I want you to pull your belly button back towards your spine, because this is actually a core exercise. I don't want you letting your belly just kind of hang down and your back start to bend right now. I want you to have your hips tilted forward, your belly button back towards your spine, and use your core to hold yourself up in this. So I want you to, it's as if you can't, like, pretend you're, and your wrists might be tender, okay? Your wrists might be tender, your shoulders might be tender, your knees might be tender. But if they aren't tender, pretend they're tender and that you can't put any weight on them, and pull the weight off of the joints with your core, if that makes any sense. You want to be on the pads of your fingers and the heels of your hands. So you have a little cup leading to your wrist. That will keep your wrist safer throughout the practice. Good. Okay, now we are going to let the belly drop. So now we're going to do it on purpose. We're going to go let the belly drop and the head come up. So we're going to do those cat-cows. So this is your cow. You can breathe in and then exhale. Come to your cat. And I guess since it's our month of Halloween, this could be our scared black cat move. Oh my gosh, I was on the phone with Shannon last night, door dashing because I'm trying to get some extra money. And a black cat ran across the street in front of my car while I was on the phone with Shannon. Oh my gosh, it took me forever to find his house, Shannon. It was, and he didn't tip me. I know. I called and he's like, oh yeah, Maps takes you to the wrong place. I'm like, well, thanks for putting that in the directions, buddy. Oh, well, life. People usually really love these cat-cows. This is a good thing to add into your daily routine. You get tired of sitting at that desk, your back's hurting, go to cat-cows. All right, we're going to tuck our toes, and we want to try to get a good stretch in those toes. So you can kind of shift those hips. You can push the weight back. We're trying to get those toes to stretch and open up. I mean, you can end up putting as much weight on it as you want. I mean, you could even go to putting your whole body's weight on there if your feet are ready for it. So we've got those toes tucked, putting a lot of weight on there. But you can control how much weight. You don't have to go all that way back. You can keep your hands forward. Stay in that table or quadruped. Just rocking in there, really getting into my toes. And then I'm going to go ahead and release the toes, and now I'm going to try to sit on my heels. And sometimes people have a really hard time in this position, and that's fine. Like I know Shannon struggles, right? So, yeah. So what you could do, and I know we don't have the props here for you, Shannon, but obviously you could have like a stack of pillows. You could roll towels. You can have, if you have actual yoga blocks, you could have something between your hips and your heels so that you can sit on it and relax, but not overextend your, yeah, good. So we're just going to stay here just to stretch out the tops of those feet. This is a hero's pose. A nice place to practice your breathing, nice place to practice your straight spine. This is also really good for your digestion. And it also, if you stay here long enough, which you could stay here, you could watch TV. Sit here, watch TV. In a few minutes, you'll notice your legs start to fall asleep. But that's not a bad thing, because when we move again, you're going to get a new, fresh flow of blood and circulation to that part of the body. So it's kind of cool. It's like a new, fresh start to the legs. So even though it's kind of weird to have that sensation of the legs falling asleep, it's not necessarily a hazard. So, all right, let's go back to all fours. You might even have started to feel a little tingling in those legs or those feet. Let's see if we can do unstable table now. So we're going to try to release one leg and one arm forward. And again, let's just do the stretch first. So pretend somebody's pulling you apart from the fingers and the toes. Stretch, 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 stretch. Let's take it out for like this kind of wonky airplane thing. Arm and leg kind of swing out to the side. And then let's go back forward. And if you want a little challenge, see if you can bend your knee, reach around, and find a bind. And then lift up. And this is actually called tiger. No, Alice, she's not playing today, but usually on game day, it's like, oh, we got to do tiger pose. Beautiful. All right, now bring that hand back down. Tuck the toes, keep that leg straight, and then press through the heel. Good. And then we'll bring it back square to our stable table. All right, unstable table on the other side. Opposite leg and arm. Stretch, stretch, stretch in opposite directions. Good. Wonky airplane. Out to the side. Try to keep your hips stacked over your knee. I know that's a little bit tricky when you're rotating out, but come back. See if you can bend and bind. And lift the chest and the head. And breathe. Keep breathing. Honestly, just sitting on your mat and breathing is still yoga, so. All right, bring that knee back down. If it feels good, you want a windshield wiper again here. You can windshield wiper from the back side. All right, we're gonna start to elevate. Let's tuck our toes. And we're gonna just bring our knees off the mat. This is a strengthening pose, okay? If your wrists aren't ready for this, you could always try fists, but you could also sometimes do some of the poses on your elbows. Some people also will use blocks and put their hands on blocks. I don't have my blocks today. I'll show y'all, but anyway, pick your knees up off the, oh, speaking of, okay, Tim to the rescue. There you guys go. So sometimes people will use these blocks to grip and use instead of putting their hands on the mat if it hurts their wrists. So that's just an idea. It's just an idea. You don't have to do it. If your wrists are fine here, just pick your knees up, hover. Knees about an inch off the mat. You're going to really feel this working on a lot of different muscle groups. Breathe. Try not to hunch your shoulders up. Try to let your chest drop in between your armpits. Pull the belly button back towards the spine. Make it do the work. Breathe, and then we're going to start to come up a little bit. Keep those knees really, really bent. Push the bottom back, your tushy back as far as you can, and drop your head in between your elbows. And I call this a half dog because we're kind of halfway there. Your heels are still up, your knees are bent, and you know what? You could always just do half dog. It doesn't even matter. But if you want to start to go to down dog, full down dog, we can start by pedaling it out, so bending one knee and then the other. And you usually do look at your belly for this. I'm sorry if the volume is getting fuzzy because I'm close to the mic. Maybe hold a deep knee bend in one side, push back a little more. And then the other. And we usually have parallel feet on this, about shoulder width apart. And then if it feels okay to start pushing those heels down, straightening those legs, and then pushing the hips back and getting more length in the spine, creating a lot of space between each vertebrae, looking at your belly. Again, thinking about getting that weight off of your joints. So we're not trying to put all of our weight onto our shoulders or our elbows or our wrists or our knees or ankles or hips. We're trying to use our muscles to hold us up off our joints and teach them how to do that. Good. We're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. And we're going to just kind of hang here like a rag doll. If you want to sway, you can sway. Bend your knees if you need to. Now we're looking at having our feet about hip distance apart, which might be just slightly narrower than shoulder. Good. Let's go ahead and see if we can have our hands on our chins just to support us. And if we want to go ahead and shake out that head here, we can. We're going to do these kind of yeses and nos. And we're going to just start trying to walk up the leg a little bit. What we're not going to do is put pressure on the knee. So we're not going to put our hands on our knees. We're going to skip the knees. We're going to come to the thighs, come to the hips. We can still keep a little bend in that knee so that when we unbend, we're not going to do anything to tweak our back. All right, get myself situated here. All right, let the blood flow reverse. How we feel? Let's shake it out a little bit. Bounce, bounce, bounce. By the way, vibrating, shaking, bouncing is very, very good for, well, releasing lactic acid in the muscles and getting that stuff to kind of work through, but It's also extremely good for working trauma, releasing trauma out of your body. So a lot of the strategies that I don't know if you're noticing that there's all that somatic, I love it. It's like a big thing for me, but all the somatic yoga stuff or somatic body work you can do now to help you work through trauma, because it's not just a mental thing, it's a physical thing. And that's one of the reasons we do yoga for veterans. But anyway, shaking, bouncing, jumping, vibrating, anything like that for as long as you can is a really good way to help work through trauma that might be stored or trapped in your body. Yeah.
What about electric plug-in?
Yeah, they have those now. You could do your own, but they do have the ones now you can step on and they will really get you jarring like this. But they are set, like they have certain frequencies that they can be set to that are meant to do certain things in the body. So they're going to be a little bit more jarring, but you don't want to have to like figure out how to jiggle your own body. You know, you can get on one of those, but honestly, you don't have to have one. Like just by not being afraid to move my body in different ways and different positions, I've been able to figure out how to get a lot of vibration all through my whole body. But it does actually use a lot of muscle strength though, which is not a bad thing. It's an exercise to keep up that level of vibration, you know, for a good 5 to 6 minutes. But you know what makes it go by really fast? You turn on a good song and you treat it like dancing. You treat it like dancing, and then you don't. It just goes by, and you've done your 5 or 6 minutes, and you're good to go and ready to go. I've made. I think you were here, Shannon, right? When we did the. This is the chaotic breathing. It's really good though. We'll do it another time. I won't make you do it today on your first time if you're, but it's really good. It's like the chicken dance, but it works so well. It's so good. It's one of the. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Feet planted, mountain pose. So we want to have feet, yeah, there you go. Feet straight, parallel, maybe a little bit narrower, Shannon. Bring them in a little more. There you go. Okay, so make sure that we can kind of feel all three, like the triangle arches on the bottom of the foot. Make sure we can kind of feel that pressing into the mat. So another thing I like to do is pretend I'm pulling the mat apart with my feet, because that kind of helps me get that outside arch down. And when I do that, I notice my inner thigh muscles will activate and my glute muscles will activate, which unfortunately, our glutes are our biggest muscle, but it likes to be the laziest muscle. It doesn't want to have to work. So you have to train it to work. So when you plant your feet and get that outside arch down, you are training those muscles to activate. And that's going to help you with hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, when walking, running, all of that kind of stuff, if you can learn how to get those glute muscles activated and working for you. All right, so we also want to pull the belly button back towards the spine. You have a slight little hip tilt forward. What you might notice, and you guys probably have a good view of the side, and I can turn for you guys if you want, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to float the ribs forward and the shoulders back and create or accentuate the curve in your back. You want this tucked in so that you literally flatten that natural curve in the lower back, okay? That's gonna engage your core, and you basically have just put on like a pretend weight belt, and now you're protecting your back when you move. Does that make sense? Now, I don't want you to hold tension though. So I want you to get into that position, and now I want you to relax. Hold the alignment, relax the muscles. It takes a lot of training. But every time you're standing up, waiting in a line, just practice then. Practice then. Good. All right, from here, we can move our arms up again. Inhale up. Maybe let the gaze follow. Get a nice stretch through the front body again, in the neck, in the chin. Exhale, bring the arms back down. All right, we're going to do all our spinal positions again. So we just did our axial, our lengthening Let's take it back up. And now if we want to make a steeple, I like to make a steeple. I can get longer with the steeple, I feel like. And then I'm going to do a side bend. So we're going to do our side bend. So we're doing all our spinal positions. Side bend, back center, reach up, lengthen first, side bend, back center, lengthen. We can do our rotation, our twist. You can kind of bring that arm down or bring it behind your back. Open up that shoulder. Back center, inhale, exhale. Twist to the other side. Good. All right, the last two we have is a back bend. So to do a back bend when you're standing, you can keep your arms up if you feel like your back's ready for that, but it's also good to have a little support here. So you can just put your hands at the base of at the top of your hips to the base of your back, your sacrum, basically, and lift the chest and the head up and do a little back bend. So there's our back bend position, also called extension. And then the last one we're going to do is flexion, but we're going to give the back just a breath or two to reset before we go right into. So we're going to inhale up, and we usually just kind of do this swan dive down. So our flexion is going to be a swan dive down, and we were already there because we were already in ragdoll, so we were already there. So we're going to go back down. It's called a forward fold as well. We're going to come to a forward fold, and then we're going to come to our shins, and we're going to come to a flat back. Good. And then we're going to go back down to a forward fold. All right, now we're going to walk our hands out if you're at the back of your mat. If you're not at the back of your mat, maybe you have to walk your feet back. But we're going to walk, 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 walk. And we're going to try to come into a plank. So shoulders over elbows over wrists. Again, hold the weight up off of your joints. Use your belly button. Pull your belly button back towards your spine, which means engage your core. Drop your chest in between your armpits a little bit. That's going to make that belly have to work more. Now, if it's too much to be here, gently put your knees down. I don't want you to put your weight of your body in your knees, but gently put your knees down, and then you don't have as much body weight to hold up. But you should still be working your core. Press your weight back through your heels a little bit. Breathe. And let's go ahead and put our knees down if we haven't already. Tuck our toes. And we're just going to take those hips all the way back for a child's pose. So I mentioned at the beginning of class when we were sitting in our crisscross position and we were forward folding, that we had another way to do that. This is the other way. So sitting on your heels. And again, if you can't get all the way back, so Shannon, here's where you could try using your blocks if you want. So you can put your block here, and that way you can kind of rest your booty on it. What? This one's easier than the other one? Yeah, that's good. Or you can just, have those hips up. They just might not go all the way down, and that's okay. But wherever they get to, fold forward over your thighs. The other thing you can do is support your head. So Shannon, you might actually really like that. If you just let your head sit here, you can relax a little bit more. Does that help? Take up that space? Yeah, because you look a lot more relaxed now. Because you don't want to have to strain those neck muscles, so hold your head up. So this is called child's pose. And what's even better, if you stay there, I'm going to come give you a little assist. So if you have somebody at home that can do this for you, I only get to do it, I don't get to do it in yoga class. You can put a little pressure. How does that feel?
Feels great.
Yeah. Put a little pressure at the base of the hips. You can carefully walk up the spine. And if there's not a shoulder injury, you're good here. You can put a little bit of pressure on the back of the shoulders. And if we were in a partner class, which I love to teach, we'd just have your partner lay over your back, and they would get a back bend out of it. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get so sweaty already?
I know. That's why you're gonna walk in the door.
Okay. So that's your child's pose, and that was a little assist in child's pose. You can even have don't let the child jump on your back, but you could even have a child lay on you and help you with that. But my daughter, yeah, she'd run over and just jump on me like what is that? Like a wrestling move? Yeah. All right, you can take this to the right and the left again. If you want to get a little bit more intense here, you can cross the wrists or stack the hands. Back the other way. I guess I better check the time. How are we doing on time, Tim? 8:55. All right. Cross the wrists or stack the hands. All right. We're going to go right back up to downward dog. So we're going to come to table, tuck the toes, take the hips up, press back, and we're going to do what's called three-legged dog. So we're going to bring the left foot center like a tripod, the hands and the feet, and then we're going to take that leg up, stretch it as high as we can. Then we're going to bend the knee and open up and look under the arm, open up the hip. Now, we're going to turn back forward, and we're going to try to just swing that leg through and step it. And if you have to take several steps to get there, that's fine. Step it next to the right hand. We're going to turn that back foot to about a 45-degree angle. And we're going to start to lift the chest, lift the hands to the thigh, and then we're going to lift all the way up. But we're going to try to keep this nice base and then just bring those arms up overhead. Now, if you bring the arms up overhead and you feel like the shoulders are coming up and things are tensing up, just go here instead. Go to field goal arms, because we want to keep things open. So if you can come here and your shoulders don't hunch up, fine, but otherwise here. And then the other thing I want you to do now is we're going to try to tuck those hips forward. So put a little more bend in the front knee, Nate, like a lunge. So bend that knee more. Bend it, bend it, bend it towards me. Bend the front knee. Yep, there, that's it. Perfect. That feel better? Okay. Good. All right, so this is warrior one. We're going to now open up to warrior two. So just make sure that that knee still tracks towards the front and doesn't swing in like mine wants to. We're going to turn that back foot and we're going to open up the hips. So it's still a lunge. Good. And now the hips are going to open to the side, and now we're going to put one hand forward and one hand back and turn and look to the front. So this is warrior two. And we usually kind of use an expression in this pose, like you're planted in the present, you're looking to the future, and you're leaving the past behind. So we can wave bye-bye, bye-bye past. And then one of my favorites, drop this arm down, bring this hand up, and we're going to do peaceful warrior, where you're just surrendering. Let whatever happen, happen. Go with the flow. And then we're going to drop this elbow down to the thigh and bring the other arm up and over. It's called side angle bend. Good. And then we're just going to drop those hands back down where we started. Turn that foot back forward. And then we're going to step back to plank. And then we're going to bring our knees down. And we're going to slowly bring our elbows, bend our elbows by our sides so we can bring the rest of our body down. But we don't want to let our body flop into our shoulders. And then we're going to lift our chest and keep our elbows bent into our ribs. And do this cobra move. So this is a cobra snake move. So the legs are long, and just kind of laying on the ground, and then the chest is lifted. So you can let your hips come all the way down. More. There you go. And then bring your elbows to your ribs. Try not to bring your shoulders up. So bend your elbows again. Bend your elbows. There. Lift your head. Good. And then we're going to tuck our toes and try to go back up to downward dog, and we got to do the other side. So we make our tripod with our right foot, take our left leg up, and it doesn't matter what side you did first because we're always going to do both sides. Don't worry about that. Bend the knee, open up the hip. And then we're just going to try to swing that leg through. Plant the foot next to the left hand this time. Turn the right foot at 45. Lift the chest. And then try to lift the whole body all the way up. And again, tuck the hips. Square the shoulders. Arms up or field goal. Breathe. Good. And then we're going to open that up. So we're going to open the foot up. Open the hips to the side. And then one arm forward, one arm back. And that gaze is forward. So we don't want spaghetti noodle arms. We want nice, strong arms. I don't know if mine are level, but I'll try. Breathe. Check that knee. Make sure that knee's not flopping in. If it's flopping in, try to track the pinky toe instead. And then we're going to drop this arm back. Surrender into peaceful warrior. Bring that elbow down. Other arm over. And then we're back to where we started. Turn that back foot forward. We're going to lunge. We're going to step back, plank. We're going to let our knees come down and bend the elbows by the ribs and let the hips and the chest come down. And then we're just going to lift the chest back up. Drop the shoulders down, bend the elbows, lift the head to cobra. And then we're going to take it back to child's pose. Good. And then we're just going to float forward until we have our elbows under our shoulders and our belly on the mat. We'll lift our chest into Sphinx. And we're going to take our elbows out to the side and let our head come down to caterpillar. Just chilling here. We're going to tap our feet. Just kind of tap it out. And we're going to bend our knees and we're just going to crisscross our feet playfully behind us. Good. Legs can go back down. We're going to extend one arm. The other hand is going to go under the shoulder. And we're going to roll into that side with the long or with the straight arm and let this leg kind of float behind us like a scorpion. So this is called scorpion. So you're just rolling into that shoulder where the straight arm is. And then just letting that top leg kind of float behind you. Good. Then we'll go to our belly and go to the other side. So this hand is under the shoulder. This arm is straight. Roll in. Pick up that top leg and let it float back to make a scorpion tail. I guess in these parts we could probably rename this crawfish, huh? All right, come back on your belly. And we're going to just roll all the way over to the other side. To our back side. Plant your feet, bend your knees, bring them into your chest. Rock and roll. And if you want, you can butterfly here Put your hands behind the edges of the feet. And then we're going to just bring our head up and look through the window. Bring your head back down. And then if you want, you can kind of open up those feet, keep those knees bent, but kind of come wide. This is your happy baby. You can also rock here if you want. And then you can take your straight legs up towards the ceiling and just kind of float upside down. So try to not engage your muscles this time. Try to just let the legs float in the air. Be fully supported on the floor. Start to return to noticing your breath. Relax your face. So the gentle inversion. Inversions are very good for, again, reversing that blood flow so you get a new fresh start. But it's also been known to increase the immune system's effectiveness. It's also been said it could potentially keep you younger, like slow down aging a little bit. All of these kinds of things. Who knows? Who knows? But it's definitely good. Good for short-term reset of the nervous system and get you on the right foot for the next part of your day. All right, we'll start to slowly bring those legs back down. And then we're going to just come to a comfortable position where everything is just being supported on the floor. You can kind of turn your feet out, your palms up. And we're just going to start to completely let go and relax and melt. Notice if you're holding any tension, and we're just going to kind of scan the body from the top of the head to the feet. And see if we can just release something or somewhere that's holding on. We often don't realize how tight we're keeping our face and all the muscles in our face and our jaw, around our eyes. And also notice what's going on with, your fingers, your toes, your ankles. So many areas that we just hold on to stuff so tight. And we want to train our bodies to let go more, release more, relax more. It's now time to soften that belly. We made that core work a lot today, and it should when we need it to, but right now we need it to be soft. And just allowing us to take those nice diaphragmatic breaths. So we're trying to use that diaphragm muscle at the base of the ribs to breathe. Not just have our breath come from more shallow parts of our body, our throat, our lungs. You can almost think of it like a parachute. You're inhaling in, filling up the parachute with air that sits under your ribs, and then deflating it. And we'll start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. And roll over onto our side. We can kind of use our arm as a pillow. Bring our knees up. This is a nice little soothing fetal position. A lot of times we instinctively will just curl our body up when we are not feeling safe. So this can be a very soothing position. It's how we hung out in our mom's wombs before we came here, where we always felt safe. And then when you're ready, you're just going to press back up. And we'll come to a cross-legged seated position. You guys can stay there as long as you want. You don't have to come up if you don't want to. Sort of notice any sensations you're feeling right now. Maybe notice how your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit feels as compared to when you started class today. Hopefully you got a little boost. Or your muscles feel better, or your joints feel better. Your mind feels clearer. You feel calmer. Hopefully one of those things happened for you. And we can just bring our arms up over our head. And we'll exhale one last time to our hands at our heart center. The light, love, joy in me sees and honors the light, love, joy in you. Namaste. Good job. Thank you for coming and joining us this morning. Hopefully we'll see you here live. What's the date? November 2nd. Yeah, November 2nd. Wow, that's crazy. It's going to be November. Bye. Live. I was live YouTube.